They actually.
All right. Well, we got Michael Chiesa on the phone. Hello, Michael.
Hey, what's going on?
How you doing, buddy?
Doing good, man.
You know, we're promoting obviously your fight here, July 4th. What's the date on the fight? Is it July 7th? July 7th. You fight, and you're finally fighting Pettis because it was scrapped from that Brooklyn card. And as much as that sucked that it happened, is a part of you psyched that you get to fight on this, which is one of the biggest cards of the year?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I love fighting in Las Vegas. I mean, it's like my home away from home. I've never lost when I've trained here. I've never lost when I fought here. So I feel like I get home field advantage being out here in the desert. So, you know, it's good to be here. And, you know, yeah, the glass is definitely half full. I'm excited to be back fighting in Las Vegas. And, hey, they don't have New York State taxes, so that's always good.
Oh, very nice. Yeah, and you haven't fought. I think your last fight was against Kevin Lee, right? That controversial stoppage by Mario Yamasaki?
Yep.
How hard has it been to kind of live with that when you know, like, I don't know how they sided against you. It was in Oklahoma when you went to the Athletic Commission to appeal. How difficult was that to finally swallow and go, okay, this is the way it's just going to be?
You know, I knew it was going to happen. The odds of getting a result overturned is, you know, they're slim and none. There's been very few. So I kind of knew going into it that's what was going to happen. But I hope for the best. You know, I'd hoped that maybe they would go no contest and we would get an immediate rematch. But you know, you can't dwell on it too much. Sure. You have to have a short-term memory in this sport, you know. So I just you know, once they had announced that, you know, that the appeal was denied, you just got to move on. You know what I mean? And later on down the road, I think me and Kevin will definitely meet again, and you know, it could be sooner than later. You know what I mean? I think a big win over Pettis. You know, I don't see Kevin getting the next title shot, so I think a big win over Pettis could really set us up for a rematch. But not focusing on that, focusing on the task at hand.
Sure. And I'd be negligent if I didn't ask you because, again, you were scheduled on that Brooklyn card, and then that whole thing happened on the bus. Now, there was a rumor I heard that did Connor's people come and offer you? I heard they came and offered you like a few $100,000, and you wanted more, and they said no. And now there's so it didn't get resolved quickly.
There's really nothing I can comment on it.
Okay.
You know what I mean? There's really...
Is it because of pending litigation or possible pending litigation?
No, it's just instruction from my manager, just to not talk about it. You know what I mean? It's just. There's a lot better things to focus on aside from that. You know what I mean?
Well, okay. In the theme of that, then
I'm just doing as I'm told.
Yeah, no, I understand. So if you don't want to talk about that, that's okay. Now, Pettis was offered the shot.
Why are you taking my questions?
No, here's what I was going to do.
Michael, hey, Pettis Here's what I was
going to say. Pettis was offered the shot.
Paisan.
Now Matt has a question.
That's fucking bullshit. I was so interested in asking that question.
You should ask it.
You took all the steam out.
Go ahead, ask it.
All right.
He's surprised you didn't take it?
No.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah. Hey, listen, Mike. That night when that shit went down, let's say it was you weren't hurt, and you were offered that shot against Khabib. Is that a what would you do if you were in that situation?
Oh yeah, I would have said yes, 100%. I mean, here's the thing: when I first saw Khabib fight was UFC 148 here in Las Vegas, and I had just gotten an opponent from Joe Silva. He kind of gave me an idea of when I was going to be fighting, and you know, I called him and said, hey, I don't want to fight this guy. I want to fight this Khabib guy because Khabib was like 16-0, and I thought he looked like shit. You know what I mean? Granted, he's evolved. He's a much better fighter now. That was when he fought Gleison Tibau. You know what I mean? So he was still...
That was a close fight,
you know, he was... Yeah, it was a very close fight, you know, so he wasn't as developed as he is now. But he's a guy I've always had my sights on. You know, I think a lot of people in mixed martial arts are very intimidated by power grapplers. You know, a lot of people don't want to fight Kamaru Usman. A lot of people don't want to fight Khabib Nurmagomedov. It's the power grapplers that kind of scare guys off. For me, those are the matchups that I welcome. So I've always kind of had my sights set on him. I've always thought I'd match up well against him. And yeah, you know, I would have jumped in the pit 100%.
Now, even if it wasn't the best of matchup, I just feel like this sport, you only get so many, like, well, every fight's an opportunity, but sometimes you get a huge opportunity. And even if it's, I mean, listen, the bigger the risk, the bigger the reward. Like I say, I that's why I say when you get an opportunity, you gotta Quinta that bitch. I mean, Al jumped all over that fucking thing. Now with Pettis, and I guess it's more of a question for him, but I was shocked that he didn't take that fight, considering he was getting ready for you. And hey, Michael, I know you could strike, dude. Look at this. You could hit somebody from across the room with those fucking limbs. You're so long. But, you're looking at you're great at strangling people. So he was getting ready. Pettis was getting ready to fight you, who's very dangerous with the rear naked, and especially in the whole grappling realm. I was like shocked that he did not take that fight.
I was shocked he didn't take the fight too, and to me that showed Pettis' trump card. There's different fighters go through different stages in their career. Pettis had a great run as a champion, won the belt, made a title run. Since then, he's fallen off, and people have been talking about his resurgence, and he's hungry again. I don't buy it. I don't buy it because if Pettis was still hungry, he would have jumped at the opportunity to take that fight. Now, to my understanding, it was a financial thing. He was 0.1 pound over for making championship weight. But they stopped this cut because they didn't come to terms on a number. He probably asked for a lot of money. When it's like, you should have just taken the chance and fought the guy. Not to mention, Pettis has a good guard. I don't see why he didn't take the fight. You're training for a grappler. You did a whole camp for a grappler. Pettis has a good guard. He's got he's like a brown belt in jiu-jitsu. It made no sense to me, but to me, it just showed it's like you're not really in it for a championship run. You were more concerned about a paycheck than you were taking the opportunity to fight for the title again. And it's Pettis is a guy that if he shows up on fight night, he could beat anybody in the world if he shows up. He's a dynamic athlete. The guy can strike. The guy's got a ground game. He's very he's got finishing abilities, and it really surprised me he didn't take the fight. But I think it just kind of showed his trump cards as to where he's at in his career.
And it's one of those things, too. And I've raised the Jose Aldo Conor question quite a few times, or point, not to question a fighter's heart, because I'm not questioning the heart of Pettis or the heart of Jose Aldo. But there are times when you're in these divisions, especially, it's so competitive. If you get called, you almost have to take it, because when do you think you're going to get this shot again? Like, there's so many good fighters in that division. When is his shot going to come around again? And even though he was not training for Khabib, he was training for you. Khabib wasn't training for him either.
No,
so this kind of once in a while, those things happen where a guy is not training for you, and you're not prepared for him either. So I thought that was a mistake, unless he knew something that he wasn't saying, or he had an injury or something he thought would have hurt him on the ground that he wasn't saying. I thought that was a big mistake.
Yeah, it's what else? Another thing that surprised me on the same subject is, paying attention to the media and interviews coming out. They're talking about like a big win over me, maybe one or two more fights, and they're back in line for a title shot. And it's like, dude, Khabib's good chance he's still going to be champion then. And he's probably going to be better than he was when you could have fought him in April. You should have just fought the guy. You know what I mean? Like, just a lot of things aren't adding up. Pieces aren't adding up. But it is what it is, as Max Holloway would say. He didn't take the shot. My man, 50 grand, Ally Quinta, went out there, fought his ass off on less than 24 hours notice. I would have rather had Al get the shot anyways. You know what I mean? Al's deserving of it. He's on a 5-fight win streak, 4 finishes, just a fucking animal. So,
and what's weird about that, and what's even more impressive, is that he was getting ready for
Felder.
It's more of a striker-based fighter. You know what I mean? Nowhere near of what a camp would have looked like if he was getting ready for a grappler like Khabib. So that even made it more impressive.
Yeah, I agree.
Well, you get opportunities. Well, listen, your fight, though, with Anthony Pettis, I mean, he is a former champ. He was on the freaking Wheaties box. How does that add extra motivation that you're fighting a former champion?
Yeah, I mean, it is. This is I'm still been in this sport for 10 years, but I still got a lot of fight left in me. I've only had 10 UFC fights. This is one of those fights where I get to measure myself. You know what I mean? I got to go out there and make a statement against Anthony. This is a guy that's a former world champion, the guy that's been, he was almost at the top of the heap in the pound rankings for a while. So this is, I got to go out there and capitalize on my opportunity and really put a beating on this guy. And, easier said than done. He's a tough guy. He's no easy out for anybody, but, these are the type of fights I want. I'm more driven than ever to be a world champion. I've revamped my career training out here in Las Vegas. I've been at the PI, 2 camps essentially now, even though it's been for the same fight. I've been doing 2 camps at the PI. I'm just on another level now. So I'm just this is a good fight to measure where I'm at and see how far I am from getting that title shot.
And what do you think about the division? I mean, obviously Khabib is Conor. They still have to see what happens by the time that gets announced. Who knows? I mean, he is still, the number one contender. But who do you think deserves that next shot? Because you have, obviously, Ferguson is out. We don't know when he's coming back. Alvarez and Poirier are going to fight. You got Kevin Lee, and, of course, Barboza has already fought him. So basically, you got Nate Diaz and yourself, and you're fighting Pettis. So let's just say you win this fight. What do you think? Who do you think is deserving of the next shot?
It depends on Connor. We'll see what goes on with him. It could be. I've heard some rumors. Could be him. It could be even October. That's a fight that makes sense given the circumstances. But I think beyond that, it could be the winner of Alvarez and Poirier. I thought Poirier had done enough to earn his shot. I think he's put his time in the company. He's got a lot of fights, a lot of wins under his belt. He's young. He's hungry. I think I thought he was going to get the title shot after his fight against Gaethje. But if Poirier wins that fight, you have to give the guy a title shot, no matter what. I mean, ever since the Michael Johnson fight, the guy has been rolling.
Yeah, I thought that fight against Gaethje was incredible, and I love Gaethje. Even when he loses, he's still fun to watch.
Oh yeah, he's very exciting.
Now, who do you think? Now, again, I know you don't look ahead of a fighter. You got Pettis here. There's no one. You can't just walk through Anthony Pettis. If you win the fight, let's just say, just for the sake of our chat, you win the fight. Who would you see yourself matched up with after that? Considering the Conor Khabib possibility and the fact that you fought Kevin Lee already, who do you see yourself up against?
I think it could be Kevin Lee. I think it could be Tony Ferguson. You know what I mean? I think, I don't know Tony's timetable, but
right.
It could be me and Ferguson. It could be me and Kevin. There's a lot of options out there, but it's going to be somebody ranked in the top 10. You know what I mean? That's it.
Well, that fight against Kevin, I think.
I'm not.
Oh, sorry, buddy. I think people want to see that rematch with Kevin anyway because of how the first one ended.
It's like unfinished business.
Yes.
Yeah, it's got the hype, and hey, you know what? Like I said, Kevin and I have actually talked face to face. I see him around at the PI a lot. I don't like the guy, but I got nothing but respect for him as a competitor. The guy can fucking fight. Nobody can take that away from him. He's a hell of an athlete. He's just a douchebag. We've spoken to each other, and yeah, it's if we rematch, when we rematch. If he beats me fair and square, so be it. You got me. That's the nature of the beast. You know what I mean? When you compete at the highest level, you're not going to go undefeated. So if he beats me fair and square, it'll be tough, but I can live with that. But I just don't think that fight was going to play out the way that it ended. I want to run it back. That's a good matchup for me. So, and like you guys said, it's got the hype. You know what I mean? That's a main event fight for sure.